Hi, everyone. How's it
Hello,
going?
hello.
Welcome to the Insomnia stream. Another day, another stream. We're like right on the money here. 10:30, 40 seconds. We're only, well, I guess we're 40 seconds late technically. How you doing, Philippe?
I'm good. And you?
Are you living the dream?
Living the dream. What do you mean?
You don't know what I mean?
Not the American dream.
I'm afraid I'm afraid to okay, I'm gonna like Google search that in another window.
Uh,
Um, living the dream. Is that like I thought that was like a pretty
yeah, that's a pretty common saying. I mean,
okay, this
you hear it in movies all
so
the time. And
oh,
yeah,
okay, so you're
that's
familiar
pretty
with the
common.
phrase.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, so are you?
yeah. Yeah.
What question?
Let's say for the sake of the stream, let's say I am.
There's a story there I can tell. Well, welcome everyone to the stream. This is oh boy, I should start counting. This is probably the 17th or 18th. We've been doing this since February. Um, you can join us on insomnia.rest. So you go to chat.insomnia.rest and you'll pull up a Slack workspace form. You've seen them before, and you just fill out that, and you get access to it's free and open and everything, and you can come on the stream. And the way that works is there's once you go there, pinned to a stream channel. I can just show you because I have it open here. So there's like a stream channel, and that's where I posted. This is me posting just a few minutes ago. Anything that's happening on the stream, and what you can do is get access from there. This is an open document. I guess you can see it in my URL bar here too if you wanted, but you can see the planning document that we have for the Insomnia stream. And this is important because everything we do about the stream is done in the open. So everything from like the rationales for what the time is that we picked to do this, how long it should be, equipment that you need, so forth, where the stream happens, logins, all that other stuff. Obviously, if you're not at Kong, you don't have access to the logins, but everything that you could have is there. And I think that we realized just before this call that there's another thing. So there's like a priority list, and the priority list is anybody that comes on live is first priority. So if you have a question you'd like to come on, this is the time for you to come and ask your question. Second priority is we look at anything with the stream label on GitHub. And the third priority is kind of like random GitHub triaging. We've done that before actually in reverse order, and it's really been fun. And I actually hope we'll do more of that. Our product manager, Wills, came on, and I think it was really effective. And we did get some things merged because of that. We have, like many open source projects, we have a lot of issues that are open. And like these two that are up the top here have not been responded to by anyone and are unverified in bug reports. We really should take a look at that kind of stuff. So that's the attitude, is that we make this time. So before the stream, Philippe and I were looking here, and we saw that somebody asked this question here. Christian Ego asked a very good question about Electron, and then that was on Thursday, and then yesterday no one responded. So how many days is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and that's no good, huh?
I wonder if this is related to the to one of the GitHub issues that we have
Hold on a
open as
second. Hold
well.
on. We're still in administrative mode. Okay. So what I'd like to add here, third priority, uh, questions on. Is this gonna make it like? Is this gonna make it really overflow or something? You know what? Let's just say Insomnia Community Slack. Look for any questions. Great. So that's what we did. And then there's 2 third priorities. Sorry, random triaging. You're now lower in the ranks. So we're gonna kind of proceed. We're gonna go out of order today just because we were looking at it. And I think now we can start. There's nothing else really to say. Yeah. Okay. So what were you gonna say, Philippe?
No, I was gonna say I suspect that Slack message is related to the Electron Remote ticket that we also have open on our issues.
Yeah, this thing. So let's read about what what this is. So you used to be able to do this thing, which is what the person is trying to do. You used to be able to, from Electron, you would call remote and then you would get stuff out. So that's what they're doing, right? They're saying electron.remote.dialog. So in the example in the code here, it's browser window, but they're pulling dialog. And what they're seeing is cannot read property of undefined reading dialog. So remote is undefined. And why is that? It's because we're using this package, electron slash remote. Let's read up here for just a little bit of briefing. So it's an Electron module that bridges JavaScript objects from the main process to the render process. So in Electron, there's two processes going on. One that does the front end, like browser stuff that renders your app, and another one that runs Node, and another one like it's called the main process in the background that does all the dirty work for file access and you name it, lots of stuff. So this lets you access main process only objects as if they were available in the render process. And you wouldn't you guess it, there's a lot of subtle pitfalls, a lot of problems with doing this. Almost always a better way to invoke your task. For example, IPC render.invoke can serve many common use cases. So IPC is interprocess communication. So there's like a bridge, and over that bridge, it's like a hole that you poke through on both sides that the renderer can send information to the main thread, and the main can send information to the renderer process. So they have some kind of communication, interprocess communication. That is what it stands for, right? I don't want to be, well, yeah, I think it is. So anywho, oops, shouldn't have deleted that. Do you have any hints, or do you have any ideas about how they could do this, Philippe?
There was a comment on the ticket that folks reported
Let's find that
as
ticket.
well, with someone suggesting a workaround. I think.
Plugin
I think it's the one. Yeah.
Yep,
Plugin remote access.
Okay.
If you scroll down to the bottom,
Mhm.
to the very bottom, the last comment, I think it was a suggestion.
Hell yeah, I'll take a look at this later today. That was 5 days ago. Found a workaround for our applications. WebView tag is enabled, which allows for navigation events. It bypasses X-frame options and allows me to get the data I'm looking for a redirection. My code can be found here. Insomnia plugin, Valorant. Man, I wish I knew more about the plugins that people are building. I have such a surface level. I know the names of a lot of them, but I haven't looked at a lot of them.
Yeah, that one is used for a video game, actually.
This one?
Yeah.
Adds template tags with Valorant data to Insomnia. Valorant is a video game? Oh, okay.
It's like Counter-Strike, but made by the folks that made League of Legends.
Why would somebody need this to be a plugin? Like, what do they need the plugin for? Oh, because you have to sign in.
Yeah, probably they want to be able to interact with, I don't know, parts of that video game's API. So they also need all those special tags and whatnot.
While my plugin is working again, I would still appreciate enabling the remote module so I can better control cookies. Currently, I cannot view or forcefully invalidate third-party or HTTP-only cookies. Oh, that's kind of an interesting point. So is this the same person that was asking on Christian Ego? Tech Doodle. Oh, somebody said, oh, somebody joined. Who's this? Hey, Jack, how's it going? Jack, wait, the perfect person to, are you, did you see
Yes,
what
I was watching. I thought
okay,
I'd come
all right.
in and help.
Please save us from our flailing.
Okay, so in this case, what we want to do is avoid enabling the remote module. As noted in the @electron/remote package, it's a huge trip hazard. Lots of pitfalls. It's a security problem. So we're not going to do that. But what we're going to try to do instead is expose IPC bridge methods for the things people want to do. So in the thing on the community Slack, I think they wanted to use dialog to do, what do they want to do? Show save dialog. So I think we already have one for that. We have an IPC renderer dot show save dialog or something. If you look in preload.js, there's a list of the ones we have.
All right, preload here.
Yeah, so that one already works, and you can pass any options you want to it. They just have to use IPC render.invoke or window.showSaveDialog, which is probably the preference.
One second. I didn't catch that last part you said, but I wanna find this file so that I can ask them. So it's called preload. What's going on here? Preload. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. So these are the ones we have today. And they're all exposed in the app under the window. So they get injected into window. It's window dot. The convention I've used is to mimic the Electron API, the old one. So it's got window.dialog rather than remote.dialog, window.app rather than remote.app, etc. But then I've used main to define any of our custom ones that didn't fit in the Electron API.
Main. Okay, window.main. Restart. I didn't know that. That's really interesting. So I can do, okay, hold on. So I can come into Insomnia, and I can say window.main. Oops.
You sure can.
And like, the dialog hi. I'm sure that's not how it works. Window.dialog.
It's a object with
show.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll make this much bigger. Sorry, I realized this is like crazy small. Show save dialog. Look at that.
Yeah. So before I made the change that included this, you could in your console there, you could write electron.remote. Whatever you like. Go get me my temp directory. Read some file from that temp directory. You could do anything in there, and you still can call FS in there. You just can't call Electron APIs anymore.
Great. Oops. Since the remote is does that look good to you, Jack?
Yeah, I mean, I think with our future plugin kind of revisits, we will certainly need to be expanding the surface area of that. All I did was cover the stuff we were already using.
That's
at
great.
least in our internal app.
Yeah. So we should put. I kind of want to leave this. Wait a second. I just pulled up the link for the stream. Hold on. Did we not start the stream? June 14th.
Yeah, on YouTube, I don't think it started. Twitch,
Wait,
it did.
what?
Well, I couldn't get it to load on YouTube.
Oh, wait, what? I didn't know. Wait a second. That's a problem. Waiting for con. June 14th. That's today at 10:30 a.m. That's now. What? It says it's going. Well, I definitely, just so people can see what it looks like to do an infinite loop here with the videos, it sure shows me that this stuff is working. But I guess we're gonna have to just do Twitch today. Why would it? Well, anywho, I don't know. There's a problem with Restream. It didn't get it. Waiting for Kong. Do you think if I end the stream and then start again, it will? Is that risky?
Kinda. You can just always put the recording up, right?
I don't know if it saves the recording.
Maybe we can get a trial for Ping GG.
We can get a trial for Ping GG. We could. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know. I don't know what's the best move to make about that. We can ask Victor or someone who does streaming here. I guess he's the only one at Kong who also does this. Man, I don't like when, but it did work on Twitch, you said?
Yeah, that's working fine on Twitch.
Okay, well, Twitch it is. let me see if I can. Okay, sorry everyone watching. This is like very boring, I realize, but kind of a problem if it doesn't work. Hey, looks like YouTube isn't working. Please head on over to Twitch. Does it show up here? Nope, it doesn't. So look at
I
this.
see it.
You see it on Twitch, but it shows me that it doesn't show up on YouTube because there's a problem. What? I love the infinite loop. What problem? Server responded with a 404 bad status error. It can't fetch. Blocked by Coors. What? Why? I'm not. Okay. Well, it's working somewhere. I don't know. Let's just keep going, I suppose. Okay, so take a look at this. I guess I said that in general. Running big standing. So add this on the let's grab a link where's the link to the Insomnia stream? Sorry everyone, let me see. Twitch. Go. I'm gonna echo. Oh, I don't want to echo. Okay. Great. So we're not going to close this because it's not going to work. But basically, the answer is remote module was the remote access thing was removed, and the way we're going to do this is for people to be adding. We're going to add stuff to preload.js, and we're going to talk over the IPC bridge, and that's the method by which we will expose this stuff. Is that correct?
Yeah.
What would you think about adding this stuff to the plugin API directly instead of putting it on window?
Well, the guidance is to do it this way. I mean,
really? To put it on window?
The guidance is definitely to put it on window. That's what Context Bridge will do. If we switch context isolation on. See, this preload currently doesn't run in a sandbox. And it has access to a lot of stuff. But the future, I think by Electron 20, it will be forced to run in a sandbox. And although I don't think we have to turn context isolation on then, it won't have Node.js access. It will only have access to IPC renderer.
Oh, okay. So we don't have to have context isolation, but if we don't, then everything will break.
Well, there's a lot of complexities and angles to look at this thing. I mentioned a couple there that were just on the top of my mind. They weren't directly related to your question, though. So this file is kind of a hacky workaround to inject stuff into the window because that's where it will end up if we use context isolation. So yeah, we can, however, try and find ways to type this to make it clearer. What I've done is to try to use convention here to avoid the likely kind of typos and mistakes that could happen, such as using options for everything, always destructuring named arguments, and using send sync when the Electron API was a blocking sync call. That's what that will do. Using send when it's fire and forget, and using invoke when it's a promise. So I match the exact behavior of the Electron API. With the other ones, I've tried to use promises for all of them, except when we don't care if they finish or because we don't know, like in the case where it's a send. This is kind of opinionated, so I took a sample of lots of other preloads from lots of other projects, and this was the best one I could find.
Gotcha. That's cool. Cool. And expose in main world is from Electron?
Yeah.
A funny, really funny function name.
It's literally just doing the same thing as injecting it into the window, though.
That's really funny. That reminds me, there's a youth. Well, anyway, I'll find it off on the side. There's a really good Haskell video on side effects that uses that makes the point this is not just this one video, but like every change that you can make is a side effect in the world. So let me see if I can find it here. I'll put it in the chat. But anyway, there's this Haskell streamer that I watch, and it's a really funny. I'm not gonna find it. That's okay. All right. Well, we can keep going then. I think. Thank you for the explanation. And thank you for responding on this previously, Philippe. Do you guys think there's anything else to do here? We can move along.
We can move along for now. I think we probably want to come back to this soon and talk about like what better guidance we could provide people about where to look and about what we should be doing next.
That's why I'm thinking it'd be cool to add it to the plugin API directly, because then it's typed and it's there and it's an option and they see it and it's in their face and it's not on window and all of the stuff that comes with that.
It would, like I say, it would still, IPC bridge methods would still have to be in the window, but we could also make them available in the plugin API as typed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we would go to exactly. Yep. MISC. I think it's called MISC dot. Which is the file where we. This is the file where we add stuff, I think, to the plugin API, or is it like index? Okay, right, it's index. So like, yeah, we would add it. Well, create, install. Oh, context. Sorry. It's plugin context. Yeah, like this kind of thing. We would add it here. Not here exactly. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. We would add it as an option that they would be able to get access to. And then from there, it could also be on window. Yeah, like you're saying. And we could literally get it from window to put it into the plugin API. So the only benefit that has really is, well, it's a pretty big benefit, is that it's documented and it's typed. And yeah, we could have it there.
Yeah, we probably want to take a couple cues from VS Code and Hyper. They're the two other kind of mature-ish plugin systems.
HyperX. What is it called?
Hyper.js, I think. The VRL project.
Yeah, this one.
They're hitting some similar issues with their plugin system, but they made steps earlier than we did to course correct to make it safer and more secure to support a plugin ecosystem.
Great. Well, always good to be in the open source, and hopefully we can help someone after us.
Yeah.
All right. Well, great. I think that does it for that. It's still open, but anyway. Did you guys have any things that you knew of that we should look at pronto, or should we do the thing we do?
I think last week we were looking at the GraphQL one, and we were just about.
Yeah, nothing happened on it in the last week. I think we found. I think this guy was saying he was going to look at the stream. This is a week ago, and take a look at some work. We gave him some feedback of some things that that didn't work. And yeah, I think he's going to look into it. So this one can pause for just a moment, but we should come back to it sometime. Maybe we can do this one today. This has not been responded to and nobody said anything. What do you guys think? No objections?
Yeah, we can look at that.
Okay, let me minimize all of these. I mean, I guess I can search it like that. Remote fix. I don't really use this filter very much. I probably should, because look how easy that was. All right, this was merged. First problem. Let's go. Oh boy.
You mean merged? What do you mean by merged?
It was there's a merge commit instead of a rebase. So this is the change. So this is a pretty small change. Maybe we can get through this here today. Let me try to rebase it independent of the merge commit and see if that will just solve our problems. So we want to rebase off of here. A conflict, file conflict. Yeah. Because we've renamed the app file since then. So remember, it says Insomnia app.
Oh yeah.
So delete the file, but then there's nothing to change. So let's just, for lack of better way to do this, it's like 10 lines of code. I'm just going to grab it. So I'm on his, let's go back to his branch here. And then what is this other stuff here? There's something else. Abort rebase. Yeah. Okay. So what's the other change that I have? Oh, it's just a stash from the stuff that was left over. Okay, fine. So I'm going to reset hard to develop and grab their changes. If anybody would like to suggest a better way to do this, all ears. So we have it here. And then there works. This is like 195 or so. Okay. 195 under workspace key ID. So there. But I grabbed the wrong thing. Sorry. So many window flippings. Apologies. Yep, that's the same place. Okay. So let's read it. Always generate base environment ID, ensuring not to create another one. So what is the fix here? Let me finish. Okay. Let me finish this. You're the culprit, Philippe. Okay.
Such is life.
Such is life. So I'm gonna grab his email and like get information publicly available. Don't worry. And we are going to get. Okay, so we can commit. What was the commit message he used? Always generate base environment ID when importing. Get. Let's just make the message here. Okay, and then we have to amend. And I was just complaining to Philippe. I need like a clipboard plugin that has multiple
that basically saves a lot of things in the clipboard.
Yeah. What is? I don't have this in my history. It's like git, commit, amend, author, something like that.
Yeah, it's like config.author or config.email, something like
amend, author, and then no edit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So there's two things, and then author, AUTHOR. Then we put his thing in there, and then no edit. Great. So it doesn't really matter, by the way, just for anyone who's interested. If you merge a PR, all that matters for attribution is the commit of the merge. So if I had not done the thing that I just did, it would still attribute the PR to this person. But people don't always know that. I think actually this guy does because he's contributed a couple times before, quite a few times before. But I try to just always do that step because it's more friendly and it's like less, because like people have said before to me on Insomnia, like, hey, what the hell? You took my commits away and you committed my stuff. And it's like, don't worry. But this is nicer. So I'm going to make sure the upstream is set to his, it is set to his thing. So I'm going to push this to his upstream. And we have to force push, of course. And that's going to bring his thing here. Great. And we have the PR attached. Okay. We're back in business. The pull request ensures the regeneration of base environment ID when importing a collection. Preventing the creation of an additional base environment will be possible to import an existing collection. I lost the sentence. Preventing the creation of an environment. It's like missing a noun here. Will be possible to import into an existing collection, modifying the export file without losing the exported environments. Closes this. Let's see this. Great to have a test that we write for this. So we broke environments. Oh, I didn't know that. I respond here. Okay, apparently I did know that. Tried to reproduce this, but was unable. Okay, well, at least I did that. Thanks for having a look. Debug it a lot, and it's nothing with the normal import export, so my initial assumption was wrong. I have a plugin which is exporting the project, saving this file, and creating a new request collection, taking that workspace ID of the request collection, replacing the old workspace ID in the exported file with the new one, and importing leads to the fact that the environments are not shown anymore, only in the switch. Boy, there's a lot to unpack there. This is the same problem with older Insomnia versions. I don't understand why it's only happening here. He did a screen recording. Oh, wow. Upender responded, so this must have been a while ago. He doesn't have access to view the recording. So what was the determination here? And then Philippe jumped in. How we should approach fixing this. On one hand, supporting manual changes to the exported file is edge casing. On the other hand, replacing a set of IDs in a controlled way, as in these reproductions, shouldn't cause this unexpected behavior. Oh boy, this looks like this is going to need, like, I'm going to need to start drinking coffee. Started debugging this using the example file provided. This is what I find. Doing this trick to export the file ends up creating two base environments for the design designated workspace. So the two environments imported by the procedure are shadowed by the one generated when creating the workspace through the UI. Let me know if I can work on this. Okay, and that was in January. Okay, I think we need to try to test this. Do you guys agree?
Yep.
Sure.
We can try and follow the reproduction steps I left there.
Can I try to clarify, because it's a lot, like you say, it's a lot to unpack. Can I try to clarify what the problem is and see if it sounds right? Well, at a high level, it seems related to the way that we import, where we merge things. Like if you export a thing and then try to re-import it, it will be merged into the thing you exported from, right? If you edit the file you're importing, it's going to merge those changes in. It's not going to create a separate collection, right? Unless you mess around with the IDs, in which case things will break because there's a lot of like nested parent-child ID type relationships that can't tolerate you changing IDs really very easily, if I'm understanding it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like what's going wrong is that if you do change one of those IDs, the parent-child relationship between the workspace and the environment gets lost.
So how would we reproduce, without looking at the stuff that we see in the thing so far, how would we reproduce this then? We would create a workspace with a base environment.
Yeah, export it.
And then try to import it?
We might need to reread the
definition. Okay, let's try git, I'm sorry, not git, npm run app start. Is that what it is? I think I'm going to make an alias for this project that when I type yarn start, it'll just do it in this project. Oh no, too many open files. Okay. There's like a Linux problem I have to solve. I hope this doesn't become a problem all day today in the stream. It's been touch and go, mostly go, but some touches. So I'm going to do inspect element just to get this guy open. I wish we had the F12. I never remember what, because in the browser I just do F12 to open the DevTools. But for us, it's Control-Alt-I, which is also working in the browser. But anywho, so we created a workspace. By the way, I do need to fix this down here because when you're developing locally and you restart, it doesn't do that. So we have one workspace. It has a base environment. I mean, every workspace has a base environment, and we're going to let's export this. Yeah, that's what we decided. Export all documents for the project, or should we just do this document? I guess this document, because it's going to export the workspaces as well. Insomnia v4, do YAML, and then let's drag it let's drag it to my, to my desktop. Nothing too spicy on my desktop. All right. What I kind of would like to do as a learning experience is I would like to copy this and make your Insomnia app fun. And then, we can just go to there and then git init and then paste it. And then git commit or is it like I have to do -a or something to stage git stage there. Git commit. I don't know how to use git, you guys. Did it do it? No. I need a message. Okay. So great. It committed all this stuff. Do you agree? So what I would like to do now is import data, import from file, and it's going to open my thing. Here we go. Okay, see, one workspace, one environment, cookie jar, API spec, request, and unit test suite. Okay. Not very helpful because a lot of those were empty, but whatever. So now I'm going to go grab, again, I'm going to grab the Insomnia app. Oh, this is not going to work the way I thought it would. But anyway, I'm going to delete that. I'm going to put this one here, and I'm going to go git stage everything and test 2. Yeah, and I want to see the diff now. So we can close Insomnia. Get Kraken. Can I do get Kraken from here? Is it gonna work? Opening on another window. Does it make sense what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to see what the difference is in the database in a like extremely manual manner. It didn't do what I expected, but that's fine. Open. Okay, let me pull this over here. It's in my home directory .config Insomnia app fun. Okay, so here we are, and here's the diff. Ready? So this was added. API spec was added with the same stuff, but it has a different modified time, I bet you. No, it doesn't. So duplicated with the same IDs. Very interesting. Cookie jar, same environment. So there's another environment added. The same exact stuff. Does this make sense to anyone else?
That's kind of wild.
This is any DB nonsense that we're sifting through here. Let me make this inline view since we're just.
Do you think this is what that fix line is with the NEDB? It has this way of fixing errors. This method. Maybe this is what it does. Is it removes soups?
Yeah, it deduplicates. So I bet you. Okay. You know how we can test that? We can test that by going to grab it now since I closed the app. Do this and I paste it back. We're going to see a working set that is going to have. Yeah, it removed. Now we're getting real deep, but that's okay. It has a singleton cookie, singleton lock, singleton socket. So it removed those locks for its internal processes. Okay, but the thing that we really care about is the environment, right? So in the environment, we notice the ID is the same, like everything is the same. Let's compare that, but it's not the same as this base one, which also points at that same, like see all 3 of these point at the same workspace. So that's what's kind of interesting. The thing that's different is the data property order. That's kind of weird. So let's start Insomnia again and see what we find. App start. Great. And then I'll go grab it again after things have booted. It's booting on the other screen, I think.
Now you hit your file handler limit again.
Okay. So I can't have a certain number of watches. So even like having VS Code open is kind of dangerous for that and whatever. So once it starts, I'm going to grab this Insomnia app folder and put it back in and see if there's any diff for the database. I wish we had a smarter way to do this, but this is the way I've done it before in a pinch, and this is the way I'm doing it now. So git kraken dot should have all of my stuff there. But we probably could have done better to so we can get rid of this cache. Okay, so there's a handy feature here where you can just see by the directory structure. So environment DB. Oh yeah, so it pruned all those other ones. That's fine. That's good. So this is the deduplifying or deduplicating. Sorry, deduplifying.
This explains why one got lost.
Right.
It deduped one that had been edited.
Right. So how would we? Okay.
That's funny. So we don't actually merge the collections. We just duplicate them with the same ID and then delete the old ones, probably.
Well, it's not a we thing. See, what we're looking at is any DB internals.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, for example, I've brought up this point before. Like, if I type A here, like, let's go look. We can just see it live because that's how this works. Let's look at API spec. So I'm going to open this and I'm going to open it over here. So I'm going to type, let's put this on the side here. Or actually, I'm in Linux, so I can have it forced to be keep above others. Okay, great. So I can just say B, and we want to enable auto reload. So B, C, D, E, F. So notice what's happening here, that in every case, look at this contents line, okay? A, B, A, B, C, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, E, A, B, C, D, E, F. If I close Insomnia, and then I open it again, if it's probably not going to work this time, but if I open it again, what I'll find, see that? It deduped them, and now it's just A, B, C, D, E, F.
Okay. So don't leave your Insomnia open too
long. And this is the way any DB works internally. It's nothing to do it's not behavior that we kind of set out to do.
No, but we could work around it by checking for these IDs in the collection before. Couldn't we?
No.
No. Is it just?
I don't think we can work.
I wonder how we do writes.
These are writes.
Maybe for another day.
These are writes. What do you mean? How we do writes?
Writes is in like upserts. Yeah.
That I don't understand. Like adding new things?
Like updating at an ID. I'm curious if this is code where it's always just inserting. Like in our kind of implementation, it's inserting.
Well, there's a flush that happens every 30 minutes. So if we go to database, flush, let's look. I can show you real quick. The word every here, minutes, database.flush changes. So there is code somewhere in here where every once in a while, every few minutes, flush changes millis, buffer changes, millis, okay, buffer changes indefinitely.
This isn't the same as app start though. The app start one's running the fix thing in the startup, in the database startup.
Right. Yeah. Buffer changes. Yeah, but there is code that will I forget where, I don't know exactly.
It's in the bottom of this file. There's a thing called refix old, the thing that calls these helper functions.
repair base environments.
Go above this one, whichever one calls this. There
This
it is,
one?
repair database. I think this is the thing. It runs every time you start the app, and I think one of them might be, oh look, repair base environments. One of them might be doing something related to this.
This looks interesting. Why isn't the code in the PR in this? I would expect this code to be inside of repair base environments. Is it? No, it's not even in the same, remotely same place. So because this has to do with imports. Let's read this code now that we've looked around. So if it's an environment and the parent ID is a workspace. Wait, workspace ID key. Let's look at this for a second. Okay. So workspace ID key. So where does that come from? Workspace ID key. Import raw. Okay, we need to go to the file. Import.ts. Workspace ID key. Okay, so let's go to definition on that. Boom. Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay, it's a placeholder. So if the parent ID is that, then take the resource and its parent ID and try to match it. Isn't this like always going to be false? I'm confused. Workspace ID, unless this is getting, it can't be getting changed. Or, oh, it's an or, sorry. Or, okay. It's the hard-coded thing that doesn't exist yet, or we have an existing one. So we could make this matches existing workspace. Right? Do you agree with that? Is child of existing, if it's a child of an existing workspace, or not, basically, then we're going to set it to the base environment ID key, which is the same sort of deal and constants. Otherwise, so we know that it's an environment. So either the environment is going to be this base one, so because we're going to, I guess, come through and regenerate later. That would be my understanding, because we're probably collecting these. Yeah, generate IDs. Yeah, so we're going to be collecting those later. Or wait, what's going on here? Or the parent ID. Or we leave the ID alone and then we set the parent ID to the base environment key. I guess I still don't understand what this is doing.
I don't understand this comment. Always generate an ID, ensuring not to create another one, but we're generating an ID. Why would we? Wouldn't that?
So base environment, does this help? So always generate base environment ID, ensuring not to create another one. So what it was doing before was probably just switching. It was probably creating this ID. Yeah, I still don't. Boy, this is so deep into the weeds that it's very difficult to. Let's look at the one thing I think we could do that would be helpful. Let me grab it. Let's look at the environment at the spec that was created. So let me pull it here. And then format. Okay. So we have a here's the structure, right? We can forget about the cookie jar and the API spec. I'm just going to delete these. We don't care about the unit test suite either. Okay. So we have a request, we have a workspace, and we have a base environment. The parent of the base environment is that workspace, and it has its own ID. The workspace has no parent, and the request's parent is the workspace. So we have like,
True. The workspace is the root.
Yeah. Well, there's like null, then workspace, then
I think what I'm getting confused by is where the comment says always create another one, another environment, another what?
let me write this so that I'm not crazy. Because I want to just, we have a workspace. Wait, workspace, it has a request and it has an environment. Right? That's the structure. So always generate base environment. I added underscore ID, ensuring not to create another one. So I guess that's what's important here is what it's not doing. So if the resource that we're importing is an environment, so that's this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If the, let's try to create a name for this so we understand it. If the parent is a workspace, is child, see, is child of, okay, child, these are gonna be really long, but of not yet, you know, something like that. We're gonna fix this. They're not gonna stay like this, but it's like if the workspace, if the parent ID, so we use these constants when we haven't created an ID yet. So we're saying if the parent ID of the works of the environment is a workspace that doesn't exist yet, or why don't we do this instead of coupling these, because this is getting, if let's do this. Yeah. So let's notate these. So it's like set the environment ID to be generated because the it doesn't make sense though. Set the ID to be generated. Shouldn't it be generated? So I think maybe the point is that it's not setting the parent, but then why doesn't it also, like, I would expect it to do this. I would have expected. So like let's get rid of these, I guess. Then this one is saying if the parent ID already exists, don't set parent ID. ID already exists and matches. Don't set the already. Don't set the parent ID.
But we're not setting a parent ID here, we're setting the resource ID. We're overriding the resource ID.
So that's okay, so that's this question. So it's like both of these, like I don't know if there's a relation between these two comments. If the environment ID, set the environment ID to be generated because the environment has no parent yet. And then this one is okay. Let's tackle this case. So set the parent this doesn't make any sense to me.
No, I think we should zoom out. We're also coming up to time.
Because this is saying if the resource is an environment, set the parent to an environment. Like that's not a what? That's not a thing. It can't be its own parent.
I think we also need James around. He's got a lot of experience with this code.
All right. Well, I don't know. I'm sorry. I feel like we would.
It's okay. It was only a draft PR.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we tried. I mean, I'll take note. Well, I don't know if it's gonna record on YouTube or not. We might not be able to post to what we're doing right now, but it will on Twitch for a couple days anyway. Twitch will work.
Yeah.
But yeah, things be complicated is the answer to the question.
AnyDB is just like an onion. More and more layers of whoa.
Yeah, and what scares me is that we have all of this logic that is so deeply dependent on how AnyDB works. However, AnyDB doesn't have any idea about the relationships between our objects. Like this thing with parent ID is completely manufactured by us. But you know what that is? That's like a foreign key constraint. I mean, this is like we're creating a hierarchy of objects, but it's on like we wrote a database on top of a database. Like we wrote our own syncing and like hierarchy logic on top of AnyDB.
Normalization.
Right.
In a document store.
Right. So in order to do that, it takes quite a lot of, that diagram that I drew down here or whatever is very synthetic. It doesn't really exist. And there's nothing in the data itself that enforces that. There's no, you can put anything anywhere you want. And that's why this is so scary to work on, because like, look what we hit here is like, there is a situation somewhere in this code where an environment is going to have a parent that is an environment. What?
Yeah.
It doesn't, I don't get it. So we tried an attempt. What's the thing? An attempt was made.
That's definitely right.
I don't know. Maybe we don't really have time. We only got 3 minutes. We don't have time. Maybe we can look at like one little thing. Philippe, do you have any? Is Philippe around still?
Oh, he already bounced. We have another thing coming up soon.
All right. I think maybe then it's good we cut it at that. Thanks for joining, everyone. Sorry that we had trouble with YouTube, but that's the first time we've ever had. I was boasting about how many weeks we've been doing this and then didn't work. But thanks for coming, everyone, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.